Junior may seem like an innocent, funny, and playful character. He's loud, childish, spoiled, and most of the time, the show presents him as just a dumb kid getting into dumb situations. But the more you analyze him, his behavior, his patterns, his beliefs, and his actions, the more you realize Junior is actually a narcissistic, egocentric, toxic, and deeply self-centered person. Please hear me out because I don't mean this in a generic Junior is secretly evil way. I mean that when you look at what he repeatedly does to the people around him, there is a very clear pattern hiding underneath the comedy. Junior's biggest flaw is not that he is stupid, is that he constantly puts his own feelings above reality. If he wants something, he expects the world to give it to him. If he believes something, he expects everyone else to agree. And if someone challenges him, especially Cody, Junior does not treat it like a chance to learn. He treats it like disrespect. That is why his relationship with Cody is so important. Cody is usually the only person warning him, correcting him, or trying to stop him from doing something dangerous. But Junior almost always makes Cody look like the annoying one, because Junior does not just hate being wrong, he hates being exposed as wrong. That is the narcissistic side of Junior, not in the clinical sense, but in the way he protects his own ego at all costs. In Junior's Pizza Company, Cody tells him the business is a disaster, they cannot make good pizzas, they cannot deliver it properly, and they cannot afford the promises Junior is making. Junior's answer is not to rethink the plan. It is basically to keep going, charge ridiculous money, and run away if things go wrong. That is Junior's moral logic in that episode. If the fantasy makes him feel powerful, then the consequences are someone else's problem. And this is where Junior becomes more than just a spoiled. He becomes a scammer whenever the fantasy is big enough. In the free pizza, he wants free food, so he lies, manipulates the delivery system, and creates chaos just to avoid paying. In the food scam, the group uses a fake nose in the pizza, Junior blames Mr. Potato Head, and Mr. Potato Head loses his job. In Junior's music festival, Junior basically turns his house into a fake festival, using the idea of celebrities like Justin Bieber and Harry Potter style hype to make people believe they are getting something bigger than what they can actually provide. And in Bowser Jr.'s credit card, even after Chef Pee and Cody warn him that credit is not free money, Junior keeps spending thousands on toys, trampolines, pools, pizzas, and random nonsense until the card is maxed out and the debt becomes someone else's emergency. That pattern matters because Junior's scams are not always about survival or need. They're usually about ego, pleasure, or status. He wants to feel rich. He wants to feel important. He wants people to show up to his festival. He wants free pizza. He wants the thrill of getting away with something. And if someone else gets fired, loses money, gets lied to, or has to clean up the mess, Junior does not really process that as human damage. He processes it as background noise. The darkest version of this is the magical button. Junior finds out the button can give him wishes, but the rule is that every wish kills a random person. At first he doubts it, but even after people clearly start dying, he keeps pressing it for stupid unimportant things like a fidget spinner, a Sprite, and gummy worms. The episode does eventually make him break down, realize it was not worth it, and sacrifice himself to reverse the debts. But that almost makes the pattern more interesting. Junior can understand consequences after the damage is unbearable. The problem is that he usually refuses to understand them before. That is one of the darkest parts of Junior's character. He often does not see people as people until it is too late. He sees them as tools, obstacles, servants, or targets, and nobody proves that more than Chef Pee. Junior expects Chef Pee to cook for him, help him, listen to him, fix his problems, and entertain him, while Junior gives almost nothing back. He does not clean, he does not help, he does not respect Chef Pee's work. He just assumes Chef Pee is supposed to be available whenever Junior wants something. But the entitlement gets much darker when you look at what Junior's pranks have actually done to him. In Evil Chef Pee, Cody warns Junior and Joseph not to drop a frozen water balloon on Chef Pee because it could seriously hurt him. They do it anyway, and Shapipi ends up dead within the logic of the episode. In Shapipi's accident, Junior throws a firework at him and blows off his hands. In the prank, Junior glues Shapipi's eyes shut while he is sleeping, and Shapipi nearly goes blind. In Bowser Jr.'s prank gone wrong, Junior blasts an air horn near his ears and causes him to go deaf. And in Bowser Jr.'s doll, Junior uses a voodoo doll to hurt Shapipi, then escalates it until Shapipi is launched into space. Obviously, SML is a comedy universe where death and injuries often reset, but as character evidence, the pattern is still insane. Shapipi is constantly the prize of Junior's entertainment. His hands, his eyes, his ears, his body, his sanity. Junior keeps treating him like a crash test dummy for whatever stupid impulse he has that day, and the excuse is always the same. It was a prank, it was an accident, it was supposed to be funny, he didn't mean it. But when the same person keeps getting hurt and Junior keeps ignoring the warnings, it stops looking like innocent stupidity and it starts looking like a complete lack of empathy. This also shows up in the way Junior behaves in groups. Alone, Junior can be annoying, but with Joseph laughing beside him, he becomes much worse. Cody often plays the conscience of the group, but Junior and Joseph turn that conscience into a joke. Cody says something is dangerous, they ignore him. Cody says something is wrong, they mock him. Cody points out a fact, Junior acts like Cody is ruining the fun. That group dynamic matters because Junior's cruelty becomes performance. He's not just doing something bad, he's doing it for approval. And then there is Penelope, which is where Junior's insecurity becomes toxic in a different way. Junior does not always treat love like love, he treats it like possession. In Junior the Crazy Boyfriend, Penelope goes to a birthday party, and Junior cannot handle the idea that another boy might be there. Instead of trusting her, he follows her and investigates her. In Junior's trust issues, she texts during the movie, and Junior immediately assumes she's talking to other guys. He steals her phone, tries to unlock it, goes to her house, and even tries to use Face ID while she's sleeping. That is not just jealousy, that is surveillance and borderline craziness. And the celebrity crush might be the clearest example of how dangerous Junior's insecurity can become. Penelope has a crush on Toby Shepherd, a celebrity, and Cody explains that it's just a fantasy, but Junior cannot accept that because to Junior, emotional discomfort needs a target. So he sabotages Toby's parachute and Toby dies. A cancer patient named Thomas dies too. Again, it is absurd comedy, but as a character moment, it is one of Junior's darkest. His jealousy becomes more important than another person's life. He quite literally murdered 2 people just because he was slightly jealous. That is the thing about Junior. He usually does not act like a mastermind villain. He acts like someone with no emotional breaks. When he's bored, someone gets hurt. When he's jealous, someone gets controlled. When he's corrected, someone gets punished. When he wants something, rules and laws become obstacles to manipulate, and when the fantasy makes him feel powerful, rich, loved, famous, or right, the consequence becomes someone else's problem. And the scariest part is that Junior almost never truly changes. Shapipi comes back, Cody stays his friend, Penelope stays in his life. The episode resets, but Junior's habits do not. Even in episodes where he briefly learns a lesson, the next version of Junior usually falls back into the same patterns: entitlement, denial, jealousy, cruelty, scams, and a complete inability to accept that other people have boundaries. So yes, Junior may look like harmless comic relief. He may look like just a spoiled kid screaming about toys, pizza, girls, or stupid ideas. But when you actually study his actions, Junior becomes much darker. He is a kid who has normalized being served without giving anything back. A friend who treats intelligence like an insult. A boyfriend who confuses love with control. A scammer who will sell people a fantasy he knows he cannot deliver. And a character who has caused more harm than some actual villains, while still somehow acting like he is the victim. That is the dark psychology of Junior from SML. Not that he is pure evil, not that every joke needs to be treated like serious canon, but that underneath the comedy, Junior represents something very real, a person who never learned that other people are not objects in his story. They have pain, they have boundaries, they have lives, and Junior's biggest problem is that again and again, he acts like they don't. Follow me, you want to watch more funny videos like this one.